Hey everyone, go Fedora. I'm going to read chapter 2 for you. Mark Allison's death shook Oakmont, a sleepy, quiet community in the bluegrass region of Kentucky, to its core. Well liked and respected, his death circulated among the citizens and at local hangouts such as Magruder's Irish Pub. The heinous and senseless death of Mark Allison brought the community to its knees like never before. This April Fool's Day event was no joke. In many ways, he was a public figure, no different than the mayor or any other high-profile individual in a leadership role. Extremely popular and well-respected by his peers and colleagues in the community, he was a fearless leader. Through his leadership and the newspaper team, he reshaped the political landscape of the city and the county in many ways that even he never realized the impact he had on it. A powerful voice in the community, he spoke his conscience and was possibly murdered by doing so. Through his hard-hitting commentary, he stepped on the toes of many in the community. For those on the receiving end, it was a love-hate relationship. From the city mayor to the county judge executive to politicians to school superintendents, he pushed the envelope, hoping to evoke emotions in citizens and be a catalyst of positive change. Through all of this, his killer could be anyone in the community. Magruder's was the end place in the city where all the movers and shakers congregated. Irish all the way, coat of arms flags hung from the ceiling, while every law enforcement badge imaginable proudly donned the walls. Accented in a hunter green motif, one side of the pub had wooden partitions separating seating areas with windows to give it a classic pub feel, while the other side of the pub had high-top tables and stools. Tucked in the left-hand corner at the front of the pub was a stage where bands played, where Mark and Joanne Allison once danced. They were a staple there most Friday nights. However, since his death, the atmosphere was somber and subdued. Muted chatter on this particular day was eerie reverent as the community mourned his shocking death. In many ways, it was how the clientele showed their respect for him. On the pub's wall of fame, a framed picture of Mark and Joanne hung proudly alongside various other community members, recognizing them and the contributions they made to the community. His loss was devastating to Oakmont. Virtually deserted after the lunch crowd had returned to their hectic work life, an eerie silence greeted Spike as he entered the pub. Looking around, he noticed his friend right away. Seated at the far end of the bar, like always, Rocky sipped on his beer. Spike, in his classic gold-collared straw fedora with a black poogaroo, approached Rocky and sat in the stool beside him. For a moment, they just stared at each other. A grin painted Spike's face. Rocky returned the smile and took another sip of his beer. Spike broke the silence between them. "Good to see you again, bro. What are you drinking?" With a smirky grin across his face, Rocky replied, "Smithwick's Irish Ale. What else would you drink in an Irish pub?" Spike quickly replied, "Don't be such a smart-ass, bro." The bartender arrived asking him what he wanted to drink. "You know, I'll have a Smithwick's Irish Ale. What else would you drink in an Irish pub?" The bartender gave Spike a quirky little smile and a thumbs-up gesture and left. Rocky laughed and shook his head back and forth. "You know, Spike, you can be a real asshole sometimes." Spike patted his friend on the back and replied, "Touche, bro, touche." They shared a laugh as Samantha, known as Sam to just about everyone in the pub, brought Spike his beer and set it in front of him. Picking it up, Spike raised his glass toward Rocky. Glasses clinked as a hearty Alpha Tango cheer rang out. Silence surrounded them. The nuances of Smithwick's Irish ale lingered on their palates. Breaking the pleasant and reverent mood between them, Rocky said, "Nice job on Mark Allison, my friend. He's the talk of the town. Everyone has their own opinion whom the killer is. Makes for a great conversation, maybe even a novel one day, wouldn't you say?" "Yeah, I'm sure it does, and maybe it will be a novel someday. However, one part didn't go as planned. The gold Fedora golf ball marker slid off his body to the ground and under the deck. I'm good at what I do, but that part couldn't be rehearsed, as you well know." "Yeah, I understand. No problem. I have another job for you, but we need to let things cool down for a while. Don't know how long it'll be, but I'll be in touch when we're ready to pull the trigger. It's important to get back to living our normal lives. Until then, okay?" Casually shooting him the thumbs up, they continued nursing their celebratory beers. Well into their second beer, Spike, who was antsy, abruptly changed the directions of their pointless conversation and asked, "Who's next, bro?" "Patience, bro, patience. Another ball marker, and the name of your next target is in the envelope I'm sitting on. Make sure the ball marker is found right away. Don't screw this one up, if you know what I mean." After an electrified fist pump, Spike grinned. Acknowledging him, Rocky savored his last sip and left. Lying on the stool was a brown envelope. Spike picked it up and placed it in the pocket of his blazer. As he nursed the last few ounces of beer in his glass, two locals entered and sat near him. They quickly began a conversation about the death of Mark Allison. As he listened, the temptation was building inside him. However, he knew it was none of his business, and the ounces of Smithwick quenched his thirst. Passing by them on the way out, he overheard one individual say to the other, Mark Allison got what he deserved." Before exiting the pub, Spike turned around and tipped his gold-collared fedora at them. Back at his office near City Hall, curiosity was eating at him. Like a young child on Christmas morning, anticipation danced inside his head. The contents of the envelope fell on to his desk, creating a happy, demonized gleam in his eyes. Another blue ball marker with the embossed gold fedora stared up at him. A blank business card grabbed his attention. Picking it up, he turned it over. Recognizing the name immediately, an ear-to-ear grin grew on his face. Pumped and aroused, using his right hand as a symbolic gun, he fired 2 kill shots into an imaginary body. Visualizing the smoke emanating from the silencer, he blew it away and sighed. Walking over to the large window overlooking Main Street, people scurried about without a care in the world. As he watched them move about, one individual entering Parsons' Coffee and Pouring caught his eye immediately. Bittersweet memories of what could have been flashed in his mind. There you have it, the gold fedora.